What's up, guys? This is Us Ty2J, also known as Tyler for this particular series, because this is coming at you with a podcast now. A new little thing that we're going to try and do here with our friends. Our guest today, and probably always going to be a guest with us, is WildSparrow, also known as David.
How's it going, guys?
And today is just going to be an introduction to the Booking Club podcast, which we're going to be starting up. We wanted to start this for a little bit, but we've been sidetracked, and here we finally are. So, like we said, I'm Tyler, that's David. We're going to just use this as a little introduction to try and get us, more well acquainted. And in the future, it'll be like wrestling rumors, reviews, blah, 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 all this and that. But we figured it'd be easier just to let you get to know us for the first episode. So, how about we start off with David talking about how you started watching wrestling or how long you've been watching wrestling?
All right, so I have been watching wrestling pretty much my entire life. When I started watching wrestling, I was really young, and I didn't even know what it was. I was just zapping through the channels. There was this women's channel that my mom was always watching, and whenever she left the room, I started zapping. And I zapped to the next channel, and at the time, a women's match was happening. I remember exactly the spot that I zapped in on. It was a Stratosphere. I always get it mixed up with Stratisfaction. From, of course, Trish Stratus on Molly Holly. And when I saw that move, my first thought, besides Trish Stratus kind of looks good, was what? I was young, but I wasn't blind.
Fair enough, fair enough.
My first thought was, I can do it, and I can do it better. And I didn't do it better, as you can see by me doing a podcast and not wrestling. And ever since then, I just kept watching. I mean, on and off. There was this time when I stopped watching between like 2008 and 2009. I watched a lot less than usual. But in some way or another, I've always kept contact with wrestling.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. My personal story isn't as like just random. I was at I was just at football practice, and then my friend came over after, and him and his little brother put it on the TV, and it was a tag team match between. It was a mixed tag between Kofi and Kelly on Raw versus I don't even remember. I think it could have been Candice Michelle and Santino, but I'm not sure. But yeah, every we saw that, and I was like, all right, we're buying SummerSlam, and and we did. We bought SummerSlam 2008, and I haven't looked back. And that's how I started watching wrestling.
So you
It was
decided
great.
to start watching wrestling and buy SummerSlam on a Santino match.
Technically, yes. Santino got me into wrestling.
That's kind of
Uh,
sad.
but what about your favorite wrestler of all time, David?
Favorite wrestler of all time? If you don't count, obviously, Aldo Montoya,
Fair enough.
I'd have to say Shawn Michaels. The man could wrestle a broom and make it a main event level match.
So you're
I
saying he could
just
wrestle Eva Marie?
he could wrestle Eva Marie and make Eva Marie look like a threat. I mean, Shawn Michaels could make Eva Marie look like she could beat Brock Lesnar tomorrow.
If you need more proof of this, just look at SummerSlam 2005 against Hulk Hogan.
Don't look at that. If you can, don't look at that.
Now, is your favorite? Does it like matter? Is it just always Shawn Michaels, or is it Shawn Michaels before he found Jesus, or Shawn Michaels after he found Jesus, or like
Mainly after he found Jesus, he just became like so
not a
much
not a
better.
terrible person?
Yeah. Besides not being a terrible person, he was mindful of putting other people over. He
Yeah,
wasn't like this huge dick who refused to sell, refused to put other guys over. I
yeah.
really liked his return because of that. Kind of saddens me that he had that. Well, he didn't have to retire, but he chose to retire because I was really enjoying what he was doing.
All right.
How about
Well,
you? What's your
my,
favorite of all time?
well, as you can tell by my name, probably, uh, mine. intertwines with yours quite a bit because my favorite of all time is Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Just uh, when I started watching, he was the world champ. He was the world champion like right after I started watching, I think. And I
Yeah.
remember him stabbing Big Batista in the head with part of the steel cage to like end his world title match on Raw. And I thought that was insane. And I'm like, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy's smart. So I went back and I watched stuff. I watched his 1004 holds promo. I watched his
Mm-hmm.
conspiracy theory against Dean Malenko. His Jericho's personal security, just mostly all of his WCW stuff, and then his '07 return. I watched his '99 debut, and it was crazy how whatever this guy was given, he could take it and he could run with it, and it got all the respect, and that's why he's my favorite of all time.
I mean, Chris Jericho wasn't that some jobber from WCW or ECW, like
I,
Goldberg
I
kind
mean,
of?
he was ECW television champion and he was WCW cruiserweight champion, so I wouldn't necessarily call a champion a jobber, but you know,
Oh, you
he
wouldn't call
wasn't.
a champion a jobber, would you?
Not typically. What example are you gonna pull up?
Let me just stretch because this is a mighty big example I'm gonna pull out right here. I got nothing.
Exactly. Even even when Santino was Intercontinental Champion, Santino was pushed as a threat as Intercontinental Champion when he had the honky meter.
Oh yeah,
He wasn't necessarily a
okay.
threat straight up. He was a threat where he could cheat and win all the time. So usually when they have a title, they're not a jobber.
Hornswoggle was the last cruiserweight champion. I'm just gonna put
But
that out there.
here's the thing: they retired the belt with him though.
I
And
mean,
cruiserweight was also a WCW thing, so it was WWE's way of crapping on another WCW thing when they could.
well, I can't argue with that. WWE doesn't know how to do cruiserweights. They never did.
They just don't, it's not even that they don't know how. It's just they don't want to because they didn't think of it. In my opinion.
Yeah, it's the Vince mentality. He always sees little guys as beatable. Anyone can beat
And
Rey
I'm really
Mysterio.
glad that they're coming out of it because segue. My favorite wrestler right now actually is heroes right now. It's actually a bit of a tie between the group of New Day and Seth Rollins and Pentagon Jr. It's a three-way tie because Rollins is just the man in the ring and out of the ring right now. In all of wrestling, I think he's the best all-around talent. I don't think he's the best in-ring worker solely because there are people like Nakamura or Okada you can give that to easily. But you know, uh, Rollins is probably the best in the ring in WWE, and he's probably the best on the mic in WWE. That barring John Cena. Well, I wouldn't say he's the best in the mic in WWE. He's the best with his character right now in WWE. He's just got it down pat. And New Day is just a group of people who like they everything that they have that's going for them, they made themselves. And everything that they've done is because they're committed to their character and they're just, they're going to go out there and if something doesn't work, they'll stop, but they're not afraid to try anything. So that's another
I
reason why,
mean, having
yeah.
said that, are you not a fan of that up and coming talent, Baron Corbin?
Baron Corbin, I like what they're doing with him right now. I think he's going to grow into being a good wrestler. He's just not there yet. But I like that his gimmick is pretty much screw the indies. It's a really good gimmick. I like it a lot.
I honestly, it's not a circle jerk thing. It's not an R squared circle thing. I just can't bring myself to care about Baron Corbin. It's not that
Yeah,
I hate him. It's just that I don't like his look. I don't like the
he
way he
needs a
carries
he
himself.
needs a beard. He just is too baby faced for me.
Yeah, he looks kind of weird. He looks like, well, a neck beard.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, we could give him a fedora and give him
That's
a really
Bray's
good
gimmick. That's
gimmick.
Bray's gimmick.
Ah, shit, infringement. Well, Bray can start wearing Taker's hat. That's what he's doing now.
What? Why does Taker wear a black cowboy hat? I, I don't understand.
Because he's from Texas.
Oh, but isn't he
That
from
that
built from Death Valley, California?
except when he's a biker.
I mean,
I,
fair
just don't
enough.
argue.
Fair enough. That was like 15 years ago, but fair enough.
It's the Undertaker. Don't argue.
Don't argue, or the lights are gonna suddenly go out and he'll be here.
Nah, man, he's with the Buzzards now.
I am actually really excited to see where they're going with this thing, because
I'm
it's.
scared.
I'm looking that it's probably going to a Survivor Series tag, but I'm curious. Will the Undertaker have a team to fight Wyatt, or will Wyatt have Undertaker on his team?
I think what they should go with is it's the 25th anniversary of Taker's debut, and he debuted as a mystery partner, completely unannounced, sorta.
Yeah.
Um,
So you're saying
they
they need
should
to debut somebody else? And
completely unannounced.
what about that one guy? There's a guy in NXT who people thought were gonna come up and be the opposite of Braun Strowman, who has like he's huge. Dylan Miley, I think his name is. I can look that up right now. But
Who?
it exactly.
Who?
Yeah, Dylan Miley, NXT. He's insanely huge, and he's got insanely huge hands.
I have never heard of such a man.
It's insane. Like, here, wait. Uh, yeah, if they called up somebody like him, and they had, what's it called? They had him with, like the Undertaker's type. Undertaker brought him up. That'd be like insane. I don't know if it would be able to be done well because I don't know how good he is in the ring, and the fact that Strowman's really green himself, you may not want to put somebody like that.
Yeah.
But you know, uh, it could happen. I who else could you see really being in? By the way, check your Skype because I sent you the person's picture.
I'm going. I'm going.
Uh,
A
but
lot of people are going with the same guy.
who?
They're going with Finn Balor because
I
like
could
he's a
see
demon.
Demon Finn, but
It's too soon.
I don't
Not too
think it's.
soon because
I don't
because
even think it's too soon. I just think that Finn needs a storyline. Well, first, he needs to work on like being a face because he's not a great face right now, in my opinion.
no.
I don't think he's bland as a face,
Yeah.
but like I like him. He's talented. It's just that he's not the best he could be yet for
Like
his call up,
my one problem with that angle. Oh my God, he is big. He
right?
kind of looks like Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah, I'll put a picture on the screen during this. I thought he was like a mix between San Martino and Andre almost,
Yeah.
and his hands were insanely huge. I'll put a picture on
Uh.
during the podcast right now. But we're looking at Dylan Miley right now next to Sasha Banks on Halloween last year, and it's insane. He's huge, and if he's brought up as a foil to Braun Strowman, yeah, it'd be imposing and it'd be crazy. It's just I don't know if he is decent in the ring enough for them to both not take a giant crap in the ring.
Um. But as I was saying, Finn Balor needs to establish himself as Finn Balor, the man, and only bring out the demon when it's absolutely necessary.
Exactly. I think they shouldn't have debuted him until he got to the main roster.
Yeah. Like at times of dire need, that's when the demon needs to come out.
So
'Cause
I'm
it's
curious.
yeah.
Sorry. Finish what you're saying.
I I forgot.
You're saying dire need, the demon comes
Yeah,
out.
because like if you bring a guy in to developmental, and you're gonna take his indie gimmick of having fun with comics and adapt it to a more supernatural thing, you got to make sure it makes sense. It's not just this match is kind of important, so I'm gonna put some face paint on.
Yeah.
So I really didn't like that they just brought out the demon. Just oh, he's a demon now. You
Yeah, I
just have
think
to
it should
deal
be
with
more.
that.
I think it should be more that they're different people. I think that'd be great if they
Yeah,
somehow built it up with the fact that Finn Balor, in times of severe desperation, he'll call on this alter ego, and the alter ego will come win matches for him because the alter ego has no problem hurting people. Where Finn shows compassion, the demon doesn't have compassion. The demon just cares about winning. That would be, in my opinion, a good way to probably make it act like they're different people, and eventually it could have the demon overtake Finn, and then there's this whole spooky Undertaker storyline. But
I think they kind of planted the seeds for that with Hideo Itami's mystery
yeah,
injury.
you know who I think would be the best person to feud with him if that was where they're going with that?
What?
Bray
Who?
Wyatt.
Oh, that'd be really good.
Imagine
That'd be
Bray
really good.
Wyatt. Imagine Bray Wyatt calling out the demon in Finn, bringing it out of him, and then Finn can't control it anymore. So Finn becomes part of the Wyatt family because he's been trapped in demon state. And somebody like possibly Cena or Bryan brings him back to if Bryan wrestles again, brings him back to his purity because they like wrestle the face paint comes off, and then he just becomes Finn Balor. That not the Demon Finn.
I really like for that to happen. Like seriously, that would be
Yeah,
the best way to go with the demon if he can't get over as a face.
yeah. So, like I was saying before, I mentioned my favorite wrestlers. Why don't you mention your favorite or a few of your favorite wrestlers?
Right now, wrestlers
Yes,
right now.
wrestlers right now.
Uh, I mean Seth Rollins is really impressive. You can't deny that. I mean the guy has athleticism. He's really good in his shoes. But one guy that I really wasn't expecting to still kind of work and has managed to turn chicken shit into chicken salad the best way he can is Rusev. I
I love
really like
Rusev,
Rusev.
dude. Rusev's great.
I mean, WWE has tried to give him shit gimmicks and shit
They
angles,
tried and succeeded.
but the guy just turns it into something good.
It's
That's when you know you got talent right there.
yeah, he gives it 100% no matter whether the character or the gimmick is stupid or not, and I really like that. I really think that it's great that he's one of the few that stays in kayfabe the entire time,
Yeah.
and he doesn't break for just random uh, reasons.
Uh, However, about the New Day,
Yes.
they're really, really impressive, but they need to showcase Xavier Woods' in-ring skills.
Oh, of course they should.
He's not just a talker.
I think
Come
the
on.
only reason they're not is because Kofi or Biggie doesn't know how to play trombone.
That actually could be it.
I honestly think it's something that stupid where it's just like, we can't do the trombone gimmick with this. You know, it's not. We're not doing it.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, Xavier's not really that great on the trombone either.
I mean, true, but at least he knows how to make sound come out of it. It's harder than you would think.
I have never tried it. I've never
I've
even
tried
come close
I've
to it.
tried and failed with trumpets, so I can imagine how hard a trombone would be.
Unpopular opinion time though. I'm not seeing Cesaro reaching the brass ring.
Oh, I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I don't think he's gonna reach it, but I think he's talented enough where he could get to it. Do you think he's
I mean,
talented enough?
he's really good in the ring. I'll give him that. He's good in the ring.
Exactly.
He connects with the crowd, but if unless he's got someone like Heyman to promo for him, which he did,
And it didn't work because they insisted on making him heel when the crowd needed a face. So I don't know.
yeah. I mean, unless he's got someone talking for him, he's not gonna go anywhere.
And I don't really think it's an unpopular opinion. I just think that's the opinion of like anybody who can really see the track record of WWE with these kind of people. It's just like it's the formulaic. This guy's foreign. We're gonna give him a foreign gimmick, in which was Cesaro's yodeling in his 5 different languages, and then it was the start-stop pushing, which really killed him off.
Oh god, yeah.
Like they started him with the battle royal, which came legitimately out of nowhere, and then it seemed like he was turning face when he turned on Swagger. Then he turned heel the next night, siding with Heyman, and then he turns face with Kid, gets a good run with Kid, and Kevin Owens has that little feud with him, loses to Kevin Owens, and then doesn't do anything. The Cesaro section was huge one week. The next week there was like 10 people just because.
Yeah. I mean, Cesaro's tricky because he's a guy that you know you can count on to have a great match. You can count on him to go out there, put out the best performance he can. But if you ask him to talk, he's not really good at it.
Yeah, it's just the whole issue of what will Cesaro be able to do for Vince that Vince can't already get with a Dean Ambrose that's already over, or a John Cena that's already selling merch, or even a Kevin Owens who's younger but is able to sell and to do great in ring work. It's just the fact that it's more effort that he sees he doesn't need, which is sad because Cesaro is really good, like we said. It's just that there may not be room for him.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a Dean Ambrose who, despite not showing a lot of variety these days in his moves, is really over. When you got Roman Reigns who's winning over the crowd amazingly. When you got freaking Rusev who, as a heel, still gets that attention that Vince wants, and
Yeah, he somehow
Since
still gets heel heat without being cheap about it, which is insanely hard to do nowadays. But think I like to think this way, which I think would be interesting. Say Cesaro wanted to be at that top level, but Vince would not put him there. So Cesaro leaves the company. Imagine Cesaro becoming the king of the Indies. He shows up in Lucha Underground, shows up in Ring of Honor, shows up in New Japan. That would be insane, and we'd finally get world champion Cesaro and Claudio Castagnoli, obviously, at that point. But we could see some of the best matches of all time. We could see Okada versus Cesaro. We could see instant 5-star classics. Nakamura, AJ Styles versus Cesaro. It'd be insane.
that would be good, but honestly, if Cesaro ever leaves the company, I see him just straight going to GFW,
Oh,
just jumping ship.
I see him at least going to Ring of Honor first. He's got history in Ring of Honor. Hell,
I see Ring of Honor
he could have
offering
a
him a
spell.
contract.
He could have a spell with freaking Chikara because he had a huge thing with Chikara back in the day. He had a feud with Steel Steps.
Freaking, I
He
remember that.
uppercutted the steps because he fell.
Freaking bring back the Kings of Wrestling. Goddamn.
I mean, the Kings of Wrestling would destroy. Kings of Wrestling could be New Japan Tag Champs. Kings of Wrestling feuding with the Bullet Club, first of all, would be something that I
Oh
need in
my
my
god,
life. Feuding with
I would so watch that. I'd
feuding
watch
with
the hell out of that.
feuding with Red Dragon, feuding with the Kingdom, feuding with friggin' anybody on the Indies, the Briscoes, the yo Kings of
Yeah,
Wrestling versus the Young Bucks.
I was thinking about that.
Oh my god, I need.
I
But
need
here's
that
the thing.
so bad.
Here's the thing. I'm totally okay with Cesaro staying though because it's honestly it's just the fact that he can keep a sustainable living easily. And even if he doesn't become huge, if he's so solid in ring, he's easily gonna have a trainer spot when he retires or a road agent spot when he retires. It just
Oh,
depends on how
without
he.
a doubt, yeah.
It just depends on how he plays his cards. I see him being with the company for the rest of his career if he's really smart about it.
Another guy that I like that I see a lot of people like being flip floppy on Dolph Ziggler. I really like him.
I'm a fan of Ziggler. It's just the fact that he doesn't work as a face.
Oh yeah, he doesn't. He's so awkward as a face. You can tell. He struggles.
And his age doesn't help him.
Nah, man,
It's just the
he's
fact that
getting up there.
when he was younger, he oversold too much, and it made Vince see him more as a job guy than anything. So
Yeah.
now he's not going to be anything more than a job guy to the stars, which makes me sad because he could have been an easily like he could have been a not Michael's talent level, but he could have been a Michael's level heartthrob champion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him ever being, the icon, the showstopper, the main
I'm
event.
surprised. I'm honestly surprised they didn't give a heel Ziggler a similar to the Miz 2011 run, where they didn't just put when he was feuding with Cena back in like 2012.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
surprised they didn't give him a long. Well, he was injured when they gave him the title run, but I'm surprised they dropped it so quickly.
Yeah. I mean, the injury couldn't have come at a worse time, really.
Yeah. So
Fuck.
yeah, there's the thoughts on that. What do you think about the current state of the Divas Revolution?
Oh god, no. Not the divas. It could be so good. It could be so good. I mean, when you got talent like Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch
Banky
purposely
Lynch.
purposely living out Charlotte right now, um,
I
you
think
could you could
push
have
Becky.
such great matches.
Push Becky, please. Becky Lynch is my favorite diva right now, aside from Asuka.
I mean, you could have such great things, and it's like that video that I watched the other day from whatculture.com. They have this YouTube channel, this WWE YouTube channel, and the guy that hosts most of the series or all of the series there,
Oh, Adam. Yeah,
Adam, yeah, Adam something Blampier something,
I had no clue.
did this sort of pipe bomb thing on the Divas Revolution, and I realized just how right he was. That in NXT you don't get women talking about a revolution. You get a women's revolution, a change in perception of women in wrestling. Whereas in the main roster, you get Stephanie McMahon, who turns babyface for like 5 minutes for an angle and says, "Okay, I'm really sorry about this, but Ric Flair's daughter, because that's her gimmick, is gonna get a title match." And it
And
happens. It just
what
so
I see this
happens
as,
in
sorry to cut you off, but
yeah.
back when they first announced the WWE Network, one of the things that was going around the rumor was that they were trying to get it to be more shades of gray characters and less exact face, exact heel. But the fact is that it just doesn't work in a wrestling setting. When always,
You
it doesn't work
can't.
always in a wrestling setting, especially when they're supposed to be the quote unquote top heels of the company, and they're feuding with the top faces. You can't be half face, half heel when you're the top heel, because then you're trying to be the top face as well.
I mean, what they try to do an all tweener thing. They wanted to do kind of like everybody's witty
Except for
and
Cena.
everybody's except for Cena, who's always babyface, except when he starts to kind of lose matches and he argues with the ref a bit, and he does stuff that babyface wouldn't normally do because fuck you, we're gonna tease a heel turn. It's kind of sucky that they suck the life out of a possible women's revolution in wrestling. And I'm glad that Ronda Rousey recently said she had her eyes on the Divas title because maybe, just maybe, that'll bring legitimacy to the women's division.
I mean, I think this is all the DV's Revolution is all just a huge storyline to try and convince Ronda Rousey to come over to where Ronda Rousey will fight Steph, and Steph will win on shenanigans because, lol, she's a McMahon.
Please no. Vince McMahon took so many jobs. Please, Stephanie, follow your father's footsteps, please. Ronda Rousey cannot lose to McMahon. Matter of fact, Ronda Rousey cannot lose.
Period.
Point. Just it. Ronda Rousey cannot lose. She's
But
been undefeated so far. She can't lose in
I
a
heard
scripted sport.
I heard a thing, and this was similar to. It could be just a huge uh, fantasy book, but I'm curious what your opinion was on it. For Sasha Banks, if she was ever the one to go up against what's her name, Ronda Rousey, sorry. Uh, if we built up for a whole year, we built up Sasha Banks as the smartest wrestler in the world. She uses the ropes to her advantages. She uses the turnbuckles to her advantages. She uses certain holds to her advantages. She uses everything in the ring as her ally. If we put her up against Ronda Rousey, who has never been in a wrestling ring to fight, it could be an actual even fight because we have Ronda who's trying to knock her out. We have Sasha who's using the ropes, using everything at her disposal to try and cheat her way into a victory or try and be smart enough to get Ronda Rousey to a point where she's not comfortable and a point where she can't win.
Hmm. Well, if I were to book it realistically, it'd be Suplex City and then some sort of submission.
Armbar. Not even
Armbar.
some sort of. Hold number 56. Armbar.
Wasn't that like that jobber from WCW who did that promo?
Uh, no, Dean Malenko was doing a different promo time period.
God
Ralph just wasn't on screen yet either.
damn. Seriously, to book up to that point and to book that match, it's. I mean, I really like Sasha.
Yeah.
No problem with Sasha, but Ronda Rousey's Ronda Rousey. She's gonna knock you out some way or another. She can just punch you near the ropes. That's not illegal.
True.
So yeah, I mean Ronda Rousey could just knock the lights out of Sasha, but you could always have four horsewomen versus four horsewomen. Just saying.
I mean, yeah, I thought that was the whole point of why Sasha wasn't on Team PCB in the first place, so that she could actually fight Charlotte and Becky and make it so that she was, what's it called? So she was doing something fresh and so she was having good matches. But it just turned out to be Paige versus Sasha for a long time.
It was really boring.
Yeah.
And again, Ric Flair's daughter got the push because she's Ric Flair's daughter. I hated that.
It isn't, and it was the whole antithesis of what her character was in NXT in the first place. She was talking about how she wanted to make the legacy different from Rick. She comes up to the main roster. First thing she does is her name is Ric Flair's daughter.
First thing she does, woo.
Exactly. That wasn't. Friggin' Stephanie McMahon said woo before she said her name. It's terrible. Oh,
Styling, profiling, goddamn.
well, we're gonna go ahead and end off the podcast here, just because without really a topic, it's gonna be harder. But usually it'll be about an hour long. This is just a little introductory episode. We'll come at you next time, and hopefully we'll have the full length one that time, and it'll probably be a little bit better structured. So, see you then,
And not
guys.
rambling. Bye.
Bye.